Hey, how you doing this week?
Yourself?
Fantastic. I'm fantastic. Uh,
Good.
no, at Passover,
Mhm.
there's a tradition. You open the door for Elijah. You set a place at the table. You pour a cup of wine and you wait. Elijah the prophet is welcomed as a symbolic guest representing the hope for future redemption. You know, that cup of wine that's poured for him and the door is open, signifying a trust in God and in the welcoming of the messenger who will herald a peaceful era.
When you talk about waiting, you're waiting, I'm waiting, but isn't that where it's coming from? Like, haven't you been waiting in this season?
We all have, haven't we?
Sure enough. But but it makes you think, what if the thing that you've been trying to escape is actually the door that you're supposed to hold open?
Hmm. Yes, two women, two faiths, one table, and a prayer that broke me wide open. I'm Sharon LaShore Roy.
And I'm Sonia Seymour. Spring is here, and whether you believe in the resurrection, the Exodus, new beginnings, or just the fact that the trees are blooming and you are still here, that means something.
Yes, it does. And today we're talking about reinvention through the lens of ancient wisdom, faith, freedom, and what it actually means to hold on. This is Shameless Reinvention. And believe it or not, this is episode 29, and we're calling it Hold the Door.
So if you are new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss an episode. We drop new conversations every week, and you do not want to be late to this table.
That is sure enough true.
Okay, Sharon, you sparked it. You got our conversation started here. So, can you take us back or catch us up? You're at a Seder this year, and explain for those that may not know what the Seder is. But how did that even happen? Because I feel like you made a lead, but something we're not really all that familiar with. Because I feel like a lot of people don't even know that your full background or your history with this tradition.
So here's the thing. And, obviously we've talked about it and a lot of people close to me know. Growing up, my dad was Jewish. My mom was a Christian. And you know what my mother did? She
Mm.
did what women have always done. She figured out how to make all beautiful, right? We had Passover, and I'm telling you, this woman makes the best matzo ball soup you have ever tasted it. The matzah, taste it, I'm telling you, the matzahs are light and fluffy. She did that thing.
Like
We
butter.
celebrate. Yes, like butter. Like I go to Cats and like disappointed. Can't even go to Cats Deli in New York and be like, this ain't my mama's matzo ball soup. But she figured it out, right? You know, we had Passover. We'd have people over. We'd go to Passover. We celebrated Easter and Christmas with family. And she never made any of it feel like conflict. It was all just love. It was all just family. And it was all just God, however you name him. And she built a table that held all of it without apology.
Without apology, and that's a radical act, and that's what moms the power of a mom, right? The power of a praying mama, that in that moment.
It really is because, the world wants you to pick. The world wants you to be one thing, come from one tradition, tell one clean story. And my mother's answer was basically, no, thank you. She made room for all of it. And she passed that down to me. So this year, I was at the Seder, annual Seder. And we got to the part after dinner, which, was rough because you didn't have this feast. Because I done told you about my mama's matzo ball soup, right? And Dewan's making lamb. And it's just this whole feast. It really is. So, after you eat, you got to continue on with the Seder. So sometimes it's a little, we got to the part where I was reading and you read a prayer. It's a blessing. And I landed on this passage about the open door. It really like resonated with me about leaving all the doors open on this night and about Elijah. And I just stopped because, here is what it said. On ordinary nights, prayer has to pass through many doors before it reaches God. But on Passover, every door is open, left wide open, right? Open wide. It doesn't matter where you are, what you've done, who you've been. Tonight, you can leap upward to the highest heights.
That's powerful. That's intriguing. But say it again, because I love the part about open doors.
And I think tonight, it just meant that night you can leap toward upward to the highest heights. You can ask for whatever is inside your heart. You can think big. You can think way up. You can think higher. And I'm reading these passages, thinking about what I've been going through the last year. And God is not finished with me. And He hasn't. He never will be. I'm sitting there thinking about that table. I'm at the table with family and everything I've been carrying, everything I've been praying about, everything I've been trying to figure out. And something in me just exhaled. I almost cried, but I was holding it. I was holding it together. I was holding it together. Like the door is still open. God has not forgotten about me. And it doesn't matter where I've been standing or what I was doing a moment ago. That night, that Seder night, I thought I could leap.
And that right there summed up this conversation, this whole experience, summed up what shameless reinvention is, right? That's everything that we've been hoping for, praying for, all summed up into one moment. It's everything in one line.
It is because I'm reading, right? Because,
Yeah.
you're reading. But when I have my reading glasses on, because, I'm not as young as I used to be, to make sure I don't stumble over the word. But I thought about this podcast in that moment. I read it, I thought it, and I'm like, this is what we've been trying to say every single episode. No matter what brought you to this moment, the door is open and tonight you can leap. I'm telling you. And I know it's early in the episode and we usually do our shameless truth bombs a little later, but I want to drop a truth bomb here because I think it's important. And I'm going to say it slow because it's important. You have been carrying it, praying about it, trying to figure it out. And after all of that, the door is still open. Not because you deserve it more now. It's because you were always worthy of the leap.
So if this is landing for you right now, you share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Text it, post it, tag us, because somebody in your life is sitting at a table right now wondering if the door is still open for them. And you heard my good girlfriend say it still is. So you need to let them know the door is open. Possibilities are still existing.
I know we're going to talk about something serious here about Black people are not a monolith. I just can't wait. This is going to be a cool conversation.
You're
So
right, because that is the thing. People are listening right now, and some of them, their mind is blown. Like, wait, Sharon is Jewish, a Black Jew, and we've, at sometimes it doesn't seem possible, but just as you described it, your household, that table, that the both and, the inheritance that your dad passed down, but your mom refined, a lot of people are going to hear that and maybe not see themselves in it. But how do you speak directly to them or speak to them about that? We wanted to speak to them about that.
yes, we do. So say it. Say it. Say it loud and
Right
proud.
here. As you would say, slowly and with emphasis, Black people are not a monolith, and neither is our faith, period.
Whew. It's so true. Not at all, right? We come from everywhere. We carry everything. We remix. We make things better, right? We hold traditions that nobody expected us to hold. We build tables that look nothing like what the world said our tables were supposed to look like. My background, I believe, is a perfect example of that. And the world keeps acting surprised, like our complexity is an anomaly instead of our nature.
Or even that you're the exception, or that there is an exception, that we all just have this one story, this one
Yeah.
background, one way of doing church or going to church, one way of doing faith, one way of doing family. And when you don't fit into that script, when you don't fit into that script, that's what trips the people up, right? They don't even know what to do with you. They don't know what box to put you in. They don't even know how to describe a Sharon. How do you describe a Sonia?
That's right. In the reinvention work we do on this podcast, what we do in our own lives is the same thing. We are
Mm.
constantly helping people shed that single story that they are handed to, right? Or about who they are or who we are. And we want people to step into the full, complicated, layered, beautiful truth of who they actually are, which has never, not once, been just one thing.
Never. So you added your early truth bomb. I'm going to add another one. So this shameless
Right?
truth beam is: stop asking us to pick a lane. We've been navigating the whole road, so it's not one size fits all at all.
Yes, I love it. That's exactly true. Powerful right there. Powerful. Love that truth. Look, it's so good. I'm going to ask you to say it again.
Okay, stop asking us to pick a lane. We've been navigating the whole road.
Woo. Love it. Love it.
So you talked about an open door. And, when you first told me the story, my brain went like somewhere completely unexpected. I know you're not surprised, and probably our listeners are not surprised either.
Where did I'm thinking, but tell me where. Where did your
Okay,
mind
so
go?
it didn't go to Broadway, but it was still theatrical. It went to Game of
Of course.
Thrones. Huh? I said Game of Thrones, girl.
Of course. Tell me more. Tell us more.
Okay, so hear me out. When you remember the character, I don't did you watch it? Because I loved it. But there was a
Oh my,
character.
yes, all except for that last season. All except for that last season, Sonia. I don't mean to cut you off, but broke my heart that last season. I invested 9 seasons. 9 seasons. But anyway. Oh,
Okay, so and the pivotal character then was Hodor. You remember Hodor.
oh yeah, the big gentle giant, the one who could only say one word.
Hodor. So his whole life, everyone thought it was just like some kind of a limitation, and Hodor, and he would say it, Hodor, and that's it. And that's all he had. But in the end, like a few seasons in, they start to bring out the truth. We all found out the truth. And when you were talking about it, it made me think about Hodor, or in that character, that line, he was connected, and it was through time to a future moment. And so in the future, someone is screaming at him across time, hold the door, hold the door, hold the door. And so that was the person that was holding the door. He was that gatekeeper so that the person he loved could escape the danger that was behind them. And so that command that he said, it traveled backward and it broke him, and it became the only thing he could ever say. And what brought me to this, and I hope you're still with me, is that Hodor was not broken by his past. He was actually shaped by his future for a future purpose. He held the door so somebody else could run.
Stop. Because that's it exactly, right? And here's what strikes me about that.
Mhm.
Homer didn't know that what he was doing, right? He just held. He just stayed. even when it didn't make sense from the outside.
And so this is that preaching moment, right? And so how many of us have been in seasons like that where you're holding something and you don't fully understand the why yet? And
Yeah, because your past is not your prison, right?
it's not.
Sometimes your past is the very door that gives someone else or the future version of you time to run through. And that changes everything about how you see what you've been through. It's not wasted, it was
Mm-mm.
just holding.
A holding pattern, right? And so
Yes.
that brings me to something else, thinking about it. And it's been something I've heard years ago, and it was foundational for me. It was a sermon, and my pastor, Bishop Donald Hilliard Jr., he had a sermon, and girl, this is way back, and it stayed with me.
It
And he
stayed with
called it stayed with me. I think it was like early 2000s when I heard it. So we're talking a long time. But if anyone ever asked me, this is that moment that I remember, like it was that moment for me, how that prayer opened up something for you. This sermon is the one that did it for me. So I was in the sanctuary hearing it, and the pastor called the sermon title Weight Watchers. And so I don't know, maybe it was just me all up in my feelings, but he was preaching from Hebrews, and he said in the scripture, it's lay aside every weight and the sin that so easily besets you. And so
Mm.
when I was sitting there and hearing it, it made me think about every weight. And of course, I've struggled with weight, right? But even in this context, it wasn't just the obvious stuff. Not that I was fluffy, Sonia, but it's the weight of your expectations that were never yours to carry. The weight of old relationships that have run their season, they are done, or even the weight of the version of yourself that other people decided who you were. And you kept talking to or believing that weight long after you had already moved on. And so those weights are weighing us down. And that is the weight that we need to shed.
You know, it's like, I feel like that's an auntie, because that's so powerful, right?
Well, what
Yes,
did Pastor Danielle said? A black woman,
has a lot of power. And, here is the part that gets me every time. I sit with that scripture. It says, lay it aside, not
mm-hmm.
fight it, not analyze it to death, because we do that. Oh my gosh, should I have said this? Should I have done that? But not post about it, no angry social media posts. You lay it aside, put it down, walk away from it, because you cannot run your race carrying things God already told you to leave behind. You were not built to carry that weight. You were built to run or leap.
And you can't leap and you can't run when you're carrying bags, your mama's bags, your daddy's bags, all of these bags that weren't even yours. You didn't even pack them. It's not your bag.
Exactly. It's exactly right. I mean, we talked about your carry-on bag, right? Which bag you taking with you. We've already talked about that. But that's the whole ministry right there. And we're going to drop another truth bomb, because this episode, I think, is just full of them. You can't carry what God already told you to put down. I'm going to say it again. You can't carry what God already told you to put down. Or should we say properly, lay aside. And I'm going to
Ab-
tell you, I'm going to do the CTA this time, because we want to make sure that if we want to hear from you, what weight are you choosing to put down this season? Come find us on Instagram and tell us. We're at Shameless Reinvention. Drop it in our DMs or tag us in your story. And while you're there, make sure you are following the show so you never miss a conversation. What do you think about that, Son?
I think it's great, and I know our listeners are being and hearing us because we talked about this even in our planning, that there are signs or of renewal restoration all around us. It's happening if we just pay attention. Those weights are being lifted, the doors are being open.
Yes. So, because it's spring, right?
Yeah,
And I don't
absolutely.
think accident, right? When we talk about those signs of renewal, nature doesn't wait for us to feel ready before it renews. You could see it in the blossoms that are out. My roses are blooming. I've got tomato blossoms and lemon blossom. The trees do not ask for permission. The moon did not put out a vote. They didn't put out a vote, and say, oh, it's time. Is it time? God is constantly giving us permission slips through the world around us, through the calendar, through the seasons, through the signs that show up, even if we aren't paying attention.
Even in the full moon. I mean, it's obvious, but it's there. It's happening all around us.
Yes, the full moon. And then we have people actually moving around the moon, going the furthest humans have gone, right? Past and present, working together. Ancient rhythms and modern wonders happening at the same time. Like creation keeps saying, forward, keep going forward, keep going. There's more.
And even our leaders are doing that, right? They're showing us something new. We have all of these great popes that are, well, not so many, but like Pope Leo even. We were talking about the stuff that he was doing, and he's, like, inspiring people in a fresh way, and not that this is a religious episode at all, but when you see it in our pop culture, you can't help but focus on it, and so there's this image that you can't or I can't stop thinking about, but it was in light of all of these holidays going on, it's a holy season, and here we have, laying aside weight, carrying weight, the Pope is carrying a cross, and he is 70 years old, and he is still showing up, still holding a door open, but even also holding what God asked him to hold. And I thought, man, that's not weakness. There wasn't a weak moment in that. It was all a witness. It was a witness to strength, a witness to perseverance. It was our visual reminder of what is happening all around us.
Yes, it is. And I think spring is always a season of renewal and restoration, because that's important too. But there's one thing I've learned: you have to see it to believe it, right? You cannot just intellectually agree that renewal is possible, right? This is not like some Harvard lecture. You have to actually look for it. You point to it. You speak it out loud. Because when you've been through something hard, your eyes get trained to look for evidence that things will not change. You start to brace, right? Everything. And bracing becomes a habit, and the habit becomes a wall.
The wall becomes a fortress and it becomes like a roadblock. And you get so used to protecting yourself from disappointment that you stop letting possibility in.
Ooh, exactly. So renewal requires intention. It requires you to say out loud, I see it. I believe it. I am walking toward it. Even when your circumstances have not fully caught up yet, you speak it anyway.
And when you speak it, you need to have faith, right? And you need to do something. It has to be like when I talk to students, it has to be strategic, intentional, and proactive. You have to do it all together. It's not just a one and done.
Yes, because faith without works is still dead.
Girl, and work without faith is just exhausting.
So true, so true. All right, here's another truth bomb for us.
Okay, ready?
Spring,
Oh, you okay.
spring, spring doesn't ask permission to bloom. Neither should you. Okay, you're going to say it too, because I think both of us saying it is important.
Yes, cuz okay, so spring doesn't ask permission to bloom and neither should you. And so I'll do the call to action. If you are listening and you've been listening to this conversation and something is stirring in you, do not let this moment pass you by. You can subscribe to the show right now, wherever you're listening. You could leave us a review. It only takes 30 seconds, but it helps more people find us and find this conversation. And so we hope we'll read all of your comments and we'll be so grateful just for the voice. We have a lot going from the ones we've already read, but we love each and every one that comes in.
All these CTAs this week, I know that we're supposed to do it, but I'm feeling like we're saying pass the plate, especially in this.
It's offering time. We need a giving time. Giving time. Well, I think the reason why, though, sometimes you need that call to action in your spirit because sometimes you're sitting there, even in these kinds of conversations, you hear it, you know it's important, but you may need that friendly reminder like, okay, this is resonating. I do believe it. But it also brings us like to this end, like a end of our segment or thinking about our final segment. We've been talking and changing some things around, but we also had the songs because both of us love music. And there was a song or a track that we thought really belongs here in this episode and talking about where we have. And so it's This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. And it's like for everybody. Of course, I was thinking of that aspect of it, but for everyone who has ever been made to feel like the most authentic version of themselves was the problem. And so we really wanted to let people know that this is for you. This moment is for you. You can have an open door season. You can make a leap.
And we promise practical, right? So here we go. 3 things you can actually do right now to step into the season of renewal. Step 1, name one weight you are putting down this season. Not a list, not a plan, one thing, just one. You say it out loud, even if it's just to yourself in your car right now, because there is a power in declaration. We talk about manifesting, right? It's manifesting. I'm like literally saying it. I'm manifesting, right? Because there's power in declaration. There's a reason prayer is spoken, and there's a reason it's spoken out loud, right? There's a reason the Seder is read aloud during the table, around the table, with people. We speak things into being, and we release things by speaking them.
Step 2, find one sign of renewal that has been kind of right in front of your face, but you've been ignoring it or looking past it. It's already there, but it's like that job lead that surprised you, or the relationship that started to heal, or even like the morning that you woke up and you felt 10% lighter emotionally or even 10% lighter pounds wise. Okay, we're going to take that 10% lighter. But then the day before, and we're not going to take those moments for granted. It's not nothing. That all is evidence, and our evidence builds our faith. And so if you find those moments, you can point to it. We want you to write it down if you have to it so that you can recognize and honor that those things are happening to you even now.
I love it. So step 3, open a door. Don't hold it right, but open a door, literally or metaphorically. Reach out to the person you've been meaning to contact. Say yes to the thing you've been orbiting for months. Apply for it. Submit it. Show up. Because the Seder teaches that on that night, every door is left wide open. But somebody still has to walk through it, and you don't have to wait for Elijah. The open door does not drag you over the threshold. You have to move your own feet.
We do our miracle and he will do the rest.
Yes, we do our miracle, and he will do the rest. That's it. That's the whole thing.
It's so
Because
good.
you want to say
Oh,
this truth bomb? Because I think it's a good truth bomb, and you should say it. Or do you want me to say it? I'll say it. I'll say it. I don't mind saying it.
okay.
Another truth bomb for this episode. I'm telling you, it's full of them. just because of, I think, the ancient wisdom, all the journeys we're taking here is the door is open, but somebody still has to walk through.
Absolutely. So before we let you guys go, we want to leave you with some music because there's never enough, right? Music is the thing that unites us. It lifts us all up because that's also how we do. So we've been talking to our guests. We started it, our new thing, but I'm even going to ask you. So, what is your song for this season of your life?
You know what? We talked about cleaning the house to music or doing whatever, and I've been doing a lot of cleaning and reorganizing, right? During this transition or during this time. It's not even transition. It is my time. And it's called Me by Tamia. And I'm not talking about it's Tamia, yes, the line dancing song. Yes, yes, everybody loves it at weddings and special events, right? But this song is called Me because sometimes the reinvention isn't just about coming back to yourself. It's coming back to the person you were before the world got loud,
Mm.
before the weight piled up, before you started carrying bags you did not pack. That song is about remembering who you are. And right now, that feels like exactly the right medicine. So, what's your song?
It's like a balm for the soul, you know? So mine is it's still in the same family, but mine is Testimony by Anthony Brown and Group Therapy. And maybe it's because group therapy is in the title, I don't know, but it's something about it that me when I need to be reminded and regularly, that everything that I've been going through is not a waste, It's
Yeah.
and sometimes it can feel like it's the test, but it's really a witness. And it is a testimony and that my next chapter is still coming and it's not over yet. So every hard season that I held through or that I was going through is a door that either that God held open for me, one, but that even I held open. And I was holding it open so that somebody else could run through it. And maybe that somebody was me running through those open doors. And so that's where I'm coming from now.
Yeah, maybe especially you, right?
Hmm. Yes.
So, all right. All right, friends. Thank you for being at this table with us today. We want to hear from you. What door are you walking through this season? What weight are you putting down? Come find us and tell us. I mean, really, if you got something from this episode, take 30 seconds right now and leave us a review wherever you are listening, whether it's Podbean or Spotify or Apple or YouTube or LinkedIn, Facebook. Is there a single best thing you can do to help this show reach people? We read your words. Tell us, share this post, share this podcast. We would love it if you did.
Absolutely. Because, and if you're not already subscribed, thank you to our subscribers. They've been growing and it's great to see those numbers, but do that right now. Like Sharon said, we drop new episodes every week and you don't want to miss out what's coming next. I'm Sonia Seymour,
I'm Chandler Roy.
and this has been Shameless Reinvention. Hold the door, y'all. Somebody is counting on it.